Hello and welcome everyone, I'm Amethyst Dream Witch and today I'm going to be putting together a Serenity sachet. Now, I call it a Serenity sachet, it's a Serenity spell bag. So I'm going to be using this. Now you could also put this into a bag like this where you can't see into it. But it's completely up to you. You could put this into a bowl, into a jar. You could potentially even use it as a herbal bath blend. So, yes. Today I mentioned this in the previous video. So these are the 5 herbs that I got together a little while ago, and just all because I wanted to do a spell, but I didn't know what, and I was trying to inspire myself by different herbs, crystals, all sorts of other things. And when going through all my herbs, these five wanted to be used, so I grabbed them. So I've got dandelion leaf, which looks a bit like this. So this is associated with the planet Jupiter, the element of air, and it's also associated with protection, especially from harm, hexes and negative energy, but also it's also associated with strength and prosperity. Now for this, I will be using it for its association with protection. So I'm going through them in the order I've listed, but the order I will put them into this lovely little bag will be a little bit different. So that's the dandelion leaf. Next is the lemon verbena, which lemon verbena looks a bit like that. So these are just the lemon verbena leaves, and this is associated with the planet Mercury and the element of air. It's also associated with protection, but it can also be used to strengthen spells or strength in general. So that's those 2. Next is rosemary, which if you don't know what it looks like, it's like that. But you can get leaves that are bigger and thicker. So rosemary. This is associated with the planet, with the sun and the element of fire. Also associated with protection, but can also be used to empower. So that's an interesting one, something I learnt. Next is marigold. Very similar to sunflowers. I believe I've got some sunflower petals, but I wanted marigold wanted to be used more, and this is associated with the sun and fire, the element of fire. Kind of fits with the colouring. It's also associated with prosperity and protection. You can tell there's a theme of protection through all of this, because lemongrass is also associated with protection, but it's also associated with serenity and prosperity, planet Mercury, element of air. So those are the 5. Now the order I will be using them in is a bit different. So I'm just going to organise them in the order. Lemongrass is last. There. Right, now they're in order. So it's a small bag. I don't have any bigger than this in this colour, but this blue makes me think of Serenity, because it's that peaceful, calm, especially calm seawater at a beach. that gorgeous still blue, not the stroppy sea ocean having a tantrum thing. So I didn't start this spell with an intention. I just knew I wanted to do a spell with these 5 herbs. So I went through every page that I have about each of these herbs and went, what can I use it for? Hence the dandelion leaf for protection, strength and prosperity. I'm not going to be using it for all 3 of those. Each herb has one keyword that I've used. So lemon verbena, protection or strength. I've used this for strength. So it's all about a strong baseline. So this, I would use one of my 3 spoons that I grabbed. I promise this is a spoon. It's a little spoon. But for these, I'm going to use my fingers. I'm going to just pick one out. I say one out. I'm going to be using more than one. Not sure how many just yet. 2, 4, 3. I think 5 is a good number. 5 elements. 4. There's 5. So there's 5 lemon verbena leaves in there, and that's for strength. So that's going to go back into my little basket to know that it's gone from waiting to be used, added or adding, and then added to the spell. So next is dandelion leaf. So it's the strength of lemon verbena, which is going to be added to dandelion leaf's protection. And for this I will need a spoon. I do have another spoon that's tiny tiddly. So, oh, you do fit. I wasn't sure if it does, but if it did, but it does. So I don't want too much. So this is the dandelion leaf for protection. And there it is. So that's the dandelion leaf added. That's going to join lemon verbena. Next up is rosemary. Now, as I said, rosemary is associated with protection, but also with empowering. And that's what I'm going to be adding rosemary for. So we've got the strong protection of lemon verbena and dandelion leaf, and now we're adding in rosemary's empowerment. Now we don't need much of this because I've just taken the lid off and I can smell the rosemary. It's very, very powerful. So I'm only going to add a little bit because I'm not adding it for its smell, but that's barely half a spoonful. So that's the empowering rosemary. And next, after that's in the basket, next is marigold, which is going to be added for its association with prosperity. Now, the marigolds I have are either loose petals or marigold flowers, like that's an actual flower with some petals on it. I quite like the look of you, so chosen a different marigold flower head. There's a few more petals on it and I prefer it. I like the look of it. Just looking at what was on top of the jar, this is the one. So 1 marigold for prosperity. And then the final herb to be added is lemongrass. And lemongrass I'm adding for Serenity. Now I don't need much. Let's go with you. So out of all of those, this is the one I've chosen to use. Now it will fit in there. It will fit in my little bag. The bag is actually wider than this stalk of lemongrass, and also if it goes in at an angle, it's not even taking up that much space. So the Serenity of lemongrass has been added. That's all I wanted. That's all I want for it. And now just going to tie it off. Just going to tie a knot using these 2 parts of it, and then also darn it. And then what I can do is I can use these as a hook, and this will go on my lovely little tree that I use for Wheel of the Year and spells. I use it because I like to see my spells a lot of the time, especially when they're for me. So I like to see them, and so I'll just add this. Probably won't use the shorter length, but I can use the longer one and hang it on a branch. So that's my Serenity sachet. Again, as I said, you could use this as a herbal blend for a bath. You could, put it in a jar, put it in a bag like this and just leave it to one side. Stick it in a manifestation box. There's no right way. There's no right thing for you to do with your spells once they're done. It's up to you. So I hope this has been helpful. I hope it's inspired you. If you have any questions, please do let me know in the comments, and I will respond. And like the video, share it, share the channel even. Subscribe if you haven't. I shall see you again soon. So stay safe everyone, and blessings to you all.